this is where I really find myself asking, how can I be helpful for this movement, right?
Hmm.
Because I mean, look at DGG in Wisconsin, right? Like, this is clearly a movement. You have built a community that's clearly more interested in getting done than a lot of other online communities. Certainly more than, the people that just want to chirp all day on Twitter. I mean, as we're moving into 2024, what do you want to do? Like, what role do you want to play in helping kind of turn us away from the abyss? Because I am 100%, I feel in my bones, if we don't start having some people that are more seasoned leaders step up and go like, this is how we need to communicate. We need coalitions. We need to, work elections. I think if we don't have some more maturity in the movement, I really worry we're going to go to some very dark places.
Yeah, I mean, like the saddest thing is the idea that maybe like for somebody like me or other people, you just have to kind of abandon the progressive movement, which is kind of sad. I wouldn't. It seems like a thing. I wouldn't want that to happen. I don't think somebody like me has any acceptance there. I've made like too many people will say like off the wall statements to like ever accept me in that type of thing. So I don't know if like there's a place for me anymore in the in the progressive
I
movement.
don't agree
So
with that.
what?
I don't agree with that. I don't.
I mean, you're gonna have a really hard time putting up some of my statements on like BLM and then being like, "Oh, here's Destiny. He's gonna like campus spread." Like that's what my Omaha campaign got destroyed over.
I know they did this to you. Can I make a suggestion to you? Because I've thought about, if I were in your shoes, how I would handle this.
Go for it.
So, Ben Shapiro did, before he was like this major figure that he is today, right? He put out a really interesting statement where he went through all of his older stuff and he put it up in this blog post, and he basically acknowledged it and said, here, I thought about this. This is what I meant to say here. Let me say this more skillfully. Here's my current position on it. Kind of what you're trying to do with like putting your stuff on. Is it on GitHub?
Yeah,
Like
the
your
positions dot
positions place?
.gg, yeah.
Because this is the thing about Democratic politicians. They will take your volunteers, they will take your money, they will take all the help you can give them. If you can give them this much plausible deniability about it, or just acknowledge this stuff. Like, I know if I were working with DGG in the future and I had a candidate call me and say, we have some concerns about this statement, I would just point them to that and I'd be like, look, this is what you can get. Some volunteers are going to work very hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. When we did our thing in Georgia recently, like I was very, very, very upfront with everything. Like they said the mayor wanted to take pictures, and I was like, you don't want to take pictures with me. Like you can have some of my campaign volunteer people. Like these are statements I made on the internet. Like be aware of it. And they were like, oh, okay. Well, in that case, we'll be a little bit more careful. But like I had dinner with a couple of the volunteer staff or whatever, and that seemed to go okay. I think the thing in Omaha was a bit unique. Probably because the guy that I was dealing with wasn't necessarily a politician. He was just like a
Right.
really well-meaning guy that was like pretty well traveled, want to help his city, and he was not ready. I felt so bad. Like I had a call with him, and he was
Oh.
crying because people were threatening to revoke his teaching license because of
Oh
his
my
sociopath. Yeah, and I
God.
was like, ugh. And I could tell he was not made for that type of environment. Yeah, so it was a bit of a. It wasn't like it was like a whole democratic machine I was dealing with that cast me out. It was like a guy. It was a poor dude that was like a teacher from Omaha that just wanted to make his community better. That was not ready for the storm that was coming online for him from all the people online and in Omaha that were like started to attack him over my. So I was like, I got it.
Yeah, I work with Jank, and we have a saying when we do stuff together. We generally don't do big missions with people that have not been through before.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
of this exact reason. Like,
Mhm.
once you've experienced a certain level of internet harassment, you're just like, yay, I've got it. That's fine. I don't feel anything anymore.
Yeah.
So we just don't form close alliances with people that haven't done that, because they will break and you feel awful about it.
And it over like whatever mission you're trying to further. It damages everything.
100%.
So yeah, it's hard.
100%. Yeah, dude, I really hope you'll take a moment and feel some pride about the community you've built. Like, I'm not going to say DGG is perfect on everything, but they are unusually willing to step up and do the real work, in my experience. And that didn't happen serendipitously, man. That comes from the top, and
Yeah.
you should be really proud of that.
No, yeah, I am. I definitely am. I did that. I think I did like one shout out for Georgia, and I got like 300 canvassers to show up there for
That's
that runoff
crazy.
election. So yeah, I'm happy. Yeah. I think
Does
they're
that
cool dudes.
piss you off that you didn't get credit in media about that?
Not so. My viewpoint has always been like I'll be like a Batman figure to like do whatever in the background as long as like I know what I'm doing, and I obviously I get paid really well, so I'm not going to complain that I'm like impoverished forever. The only thing that changed my mind over the past year about building a reputation is I'll have it so that you don't give me credit for that's fine, but you can't attack me on it. If you're going to start attacking me, well then if you're going to start attacking me for every fault I have, then I'm going to want credit for every good thing I do. So that's been something I have been working a little on. It's like, no, actually I think I do need credit for some of this stuff, because when you've got people like Hassan running out here saying like, oh, I built politics on Twitch, or you've got other people saying like, oh, Destiny, all he's ever done is like be racist online. It's like, okay, well, no, we are going to yeah. So it's something I'm kind of working on a little bit more in terms of like when I go out to do these events, like contacting media preemptively or whatever if anybody wants to come out and cover it and stuff. But yeah, I'm getting that media apparatus is, and the communication, everything with media is a really, really, really vital skill to have that I'm still kind of working on my little organization for. Yeah, getting people that can do that well.
I mean, in my view, Cenk has run into this a lot too, right? This dude has raised millions of dollars for Democrats in back channel. He has gotten more volunteers to races. People will be running like suicide races where they have no chance of winning. He will say something and they'll end up with, hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bank account. He does so much good, and yet his reputation is like this caustic asshole online, which is understandable. He says a lot of terrible. And I think the way I think about this is the data is so clear that without millennials and Gen Z, the Democratic Party is just on all of these high stakes races. Looking at the preliminary data coming out of Wisconsin, we would not have won that without voters under 30. It's certainly true for the midterms. So I think what we are seeing here is this creation of another political block of voters that they don't respond to stuff in the traditional way the Democrats reach out to them, right? Biden I love Biden, but he can get up and give a State of the Union speech and it sounds like some politician bullshit. And people are just not going to respond to that in the same way. So I think that it is really important for you to get credit for this and other leaders in this space to get credit for it. So you can, the Democrats will take your voting block seriously, and you can recruit more people for us to win elections. I think that's actually very important.
Yeah, it actually reminds me a little bit of the problem that the FBI is running into right now, where I don't know if they've alleviated this or not. The FBI has a really big problem recruiting people to work in cybersecurity because of federal restrictions on marijuana. They can't find hackers. They can't find programmers because they all smoke weed. I want to say I heard something recently about them trying to get laxing up on that a little bit, but it's really hard for federal standards because it's federally illegal. And it feels the same with like the Democratic Party, where like we're purity testing the out of everybody so much, like you're not going to have any like inspiring leaders left. Like you're just going to get the boring politicians, and and then it doesn't hurt that it doesn't help that like some of your progressive leadership, like AOC, who I was initially hypercritical of, who I think has like come along really well as a developing politician. But now she's been like completely, I don't want to say completely abandoned, but damn, everybody that used to support her online, at least that I've seen progressively, hates her now because they think she's a sellout. Oh, she's with Pelosi now. Oh, she didn't do force the vote. Like, oh, but she's a totally ineffective blah 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 because she didn't like single-handedly usher in communism from her one position as a representative. It's like, Jesus Christ.
But this is the problem with the progressive movement overall. I mean, it's happened to me to some extent. It's certainly happened to you. It's happened with Cenk, who invented online progressive news, right? It's happened to every single trans public figure I can think of, certainly ContraPoints, right?
Like every other day for her, yeah.
Right. It's like, it's this pattern again and again and again where you have leaders that are built up, and then I think progressives are particularly skilled at tearing them down. And this is, I really.
And then on the flip side of that, you have to fight against conservatives, and it's like, bro, Roy Moore wanted to, and they still like champion this dude. It's like, holy, how do I get that type of support? What the, like, yeah, Jesus, like they'll support anybody if they get the okay from Republican leadership for it. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Jesus.
No. This is what I was going to say, and this is why I did have a change of heart on you. I mean, initially. Look, dude, I'm just going to be honest. When I first saw your stuff, it was that second debate you had with Sam Cedar.
Oh, jeez. The cum guzzling one?
The guzzling buckets of cum one.
Nice.
I'll tell you sometime about trying to explain this to Cenk, by the way.
Yeah.
And then, the Kaffels Manifesto, and people started sending me your greatest hits on Twitter, right? You look like
Yeah, of
I'm
course,
sorry,
yeah.
but you did.
You don't
And
have to
there-
apologize for it.
But there, people do the same thing to me, right? And then I start actually watching your show, and I'm like, oh, there's actually a lot of shared values here on this, right? Like, this is someone who is doing good work in the aggregate, right? And, I really tried to. We didn't get off to a good start, but I see how we can do good work together, particularly getting people activated for elections. So I think that's really important to model for people, like putting small differences aside and trying to get done what you can.
Yeah, I mean, I agree for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. Just wanted to stop by, give you props for Georgia.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. Have fun, be careful, stay safe. Yeah,
Talk soon.
bye. Don't trust that person, okay? They're gonna backstab us, I can feel it. Why would you say that? Haha, we gotta be, I'm just kidding. She seems okay.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.